Good afternoon. Today, I want to talk to you about the value of live events and the value of accountants expanding their horizon. Now, of course, specifically what I'm talking about is some questions that I've been asked in the last 24 or 48 hours in relation to Accountex Virtual, which is happening on Wednesday and Thursday of this week. Um, so it's happening on the 13th and 14th of May, which were the dates that Accountex was supposed to happen. Thousands and thousands of accountants descending on the Excel in London to meet, to learn, to network, to meet with vendors, to listen to experts. And like so many things, the annual pilgrimage to Accountex has changed. It has shifted. It has pivoted. It has innovated. And so wherever you're watching here, I know I have some people on Zoom with me live, and I have some people are on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. And if you have any comments, any questions, any observations, just put them in the comments below, and the team are feeding them through to me here on screen. So if you have any comments, questions, or observations, just post them down below and I'll pick them up from there. You see, why are live events so important? So I'm a long-term believer in education, a long-term believer in personal development, a long-term believer in innovation, and a long-term believer in not just sitting back and doing things the way we've done them, because that's always the way it's been. And you know, this, I suppose, has had a very positive impact on our business. A very positive impact on our business because, you know, we do innovate technologically. We do see trend opportunities. We're continually looking outside. Because here's the thing, not all ideas come from within. And to create new ideas, we need external exposure. We need stimulus. And yes, I'm a huge believer in reading books. And I'm an avid reader. I absolutely drive my wife around a twist because there's books everywhere. And there's books everywhere at home, every press, every drawer, the car, no matter where I go, I have books. But you see, the beauty of live events is peer interactive learning, and some of the greatest insights and developments that I've had personally and in our business have come from attending live events. Sometimes accountants say to me, like they think I'm mad because we'll go to the US for an event. We will go to the UK for an event. We have no hesitation. Me and myself, since the very first, since we started in business, we had no hesitation in traveling for a good education. Not all the ideas come from within. And this is why I believe attending the Accountex Virtual is a great opportunity. You see, you don't have to get on a plane to go and experience it. And they've got 108 speakers over 2 days. They've got basically 3-4 parallel sessions running, 8 slots a day. I think they've got almost 50 different sessions. There's something in here for everyone. And you see, this feeds into what I believe is a deeper issue for the accountancy profession. It's a deeper issue. And it's a question that some accountants don't like me asking. And accountants feel uncomfortable. Which do you think is more valuable to have? An open mindset or a closed mindset? So wherever you're watching, just in the chat box below, type in open or closed. Which is more valuable to have? Well, Carol Dweck has done a significant amount of study on this and has written a book on mindset. And you see, people with an open mindset are open to learning. they're open to change, and they're open to progress. Whereas people with a closed mindset are less likely to be open to change, are less likely to be open to progress. Now, where do you think the accounting profession sits? Okay, so you're very proud of the accounting profession. I'm very proud of the accounting profession. I'm very proud of what the accounting profession does on an ongoing basis. But in terms of embracing change, if we were to be really, really honest with ourselves, is having an open mindset the first thing that you think about when you think of the accounting profession? Yes, there are innovative accountants out there. Yes, the accounting profession has evolved. But when we look inside the accounting profession and how it operates and what it does, and when we look outside, has our business model innovated to the same extent as other business models that are out there? You see, people with a closed mindset are kind of the perspective of, well, I know that, and yeah, but, and people of a closed mindset, they're often stuck in the same old story. And it's really interesting for me to watch. It's really interesting for me to watch and see the impact that the firm that somebody trained in and their training path has on their mindsets. And it's always really interesting for me to interact with an accountant who has trained in a very progressive firm, or to interact with an accountant who comes from more of an accountant and business background, versus somebody who maybe grew up in a very traditional firm and have very traditional values. Because you see, the story transfers. How they work and how they operate often comes down to their mindset. You can be stuck in your old story. You can be stuck in your old worldview, and you can maybe be of the opinion that you don't need to grow and develop. Now, I'm not going to ask you to type this anywhere, but I do want you to think about this, and I want you to answer the question now honestly. And to be really brutally honest with yourself, maybe write it down on a piece of paper. Are you of open mindset or closed mindset? If you can identify in yourself that you're of closed mindset, awareness piece, knowing, well, okay, I can be a little bit closed mindset sometimes. So the awareness alone can shift the paradigm for you. What's really interesting is some people who are vociferous that I'm very open mindset, I'm very, very, very open to change. And sometimes people who are too zealous of being open mindset, they're actually fixed mindset, despite the fact they believe they're open mindset. That's actually the worst place to be. Be of an open mindset and go to Accountex Virtual. And now, Jonathan and Mihal, who are in the background here, have a link, and they're going to put a link up in the comments box here, or maybe they have the link up already. But if you want to register and go to Accountex, just click on the link. And like, one of the big issues that people have said to me, but Des, going to Accountex is going to take time. I don't have time. There's so much going on at the moment. I don't have time. – 108 speakers, 108 experts with expert insights into the development of the accounting profession. 8 time slots a day with 3 on it each time. Are you telling me there's nothing that you can't learn that would be of value to your business? Now, to deal with this time challenge issue, what we've done is, this was actually a bonus that I created for the new members who joined our Accountants Revolution last week. We did this top 10 hacks to find 2 hours extra in the day. And what I've done is I've taken a lifetime of learning and personal experience. I've looked at the challenges of coronavirus, and I came up with 10 tips to find 2 hours a day and a little tracker session. Our new members, a number of our new members reached out to me over the weekend and today and said they found that really, really valuable, this condensed 2 hours. And I've been teaching about how to help accountants be more effective and more efficient. But we've got a little tracker here. You can literally say, well, here's where I want to find the time. Can you afford to find the time to listen to at least some, if not all, of the Accountex sessions? Well, I've got a different question. Can you afford not to? Can you afford not to? Don't let your closed mindset get in the way. You see, you know, when I go to live events, I'm not looking for 8 hours of wow. I'm looking for that one nugget, that one idea, that one little piece of the jigsaw that's going to make a difference. Like when I don't know, maybe Zoe is going to decide that she's going to run Accountex every year as a virtual event and a live event. I don't know, but this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity, and you see when you click on this link here in terms of accessing the it's free to attend live. So it's running from 9 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday and Thursday this week. But for a small donation to a very worthy cause of the NHS, you get to access the recordings. And you know, I'm speaking at it, right? I'm speaking at it. Now, I'm a huge fan of Accountex, but I'm speaking at this virtual event. But I've also registered. I've also registered and paid my £10 because I'm going to watch this over the coming weeks and the coming months. So if you register through our link, we give you access to our bonus 2-hour training, 10 tips to find 2 hours a day. And if you've already registered, you can go to the link and just let us know that you've registered and we'll give you the bonus anyway. And you see, this is about putting your business first. It's about putting your business first. Part of the issue for so many accountants is they're so busy helping and supporting their clients and customers that they don't put their own business first. And you see, when we don't put our own business first, well, then what we're doing is we're not putting our team first. We're not putting our team first. Because if you're always the hamster on the wheel, that has an impact on everybody. And actually, while you might feel you're doing the right thing, putting your customers first, you can't do all things to all people. It's like the analogy, and I've used this so many times during coronavirus, it's like on the airplane, the safety announcement. If the masks drop from the ceiling, before trying to help anybody else, put your own mask on first. You've got to put your business first. Even here's how I'm going to do Accountex. Here's how I'm going to do a virtual Accountex. I'm going to get my recordings. I've picked out some of the really interesting topics that I want to see live. So I've picked out 5-6 sessions that I want to see live, that I want to watch live. But then I'm looking at the recordings. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch them in the coming weeks. I'm going to watch them in the coming weeks. And I'm going to make notes. And I'm going to use it as a time to think, a time to plan, a time to strategize. And I'm going to listen, I'm going to learn, and I'm going to apply. You see, there's another reason why virtual Accountex is so important right now. The rate of change in the world. Like, how much has changed in the last 4 weeks? How much has changed in the last 8 weeks? How much are things going to change when all this is over? We're in suspended animation at the moment. For accountants, it's been tough. For the vast majority of accountants I'm talking to, it's been busier for the last 4 or 5 weeks than it has been ever before. But we're still in kind of a suspended animation here. The world needs to get back to work. How is the economy going to recover? Could somebody give you an insight that could generate hundreds, that could generate thousands, that could save you hassle and hardship? I think Stephen is on with us here. I just got an email from Stephen, and today he's recently joined our Accountants Growth Formula program, and Stephen had a particular service type. It's not a glamorous service. But he had a particular service type, and he kind of used to just, if a client came and they needed this service, he'd say, go off over to that person over there. But what Stephen did this time was he said, no, hold on here. There's value in me and value in what I do. So he said, I look after this for you. And he put a margin, an appropriate margin on the service. Like, I know not every speaker does this, not every educator does this, not every leader in the accounting profession does this, but my aim is to continually give more value, more insights, more ways to put cash on the table, more ways to change the mindset, more ways to get you thinking differently, so that whatever program you come on with me, or a webinar, or whether it's a one-year program, that I continually give you multiples of your return on investment. Yes, it might require some time, but what if investing in Accountex Virtual gave you real value? So much has changed. Do you have to solve this all on your own? You see, I'm of who, not how. This is something I learned from Dan Sullivan, the strategic coach. And you see, when there's a problem to be solved, if we look solely to ourselves, it's harder because it's all on me. But what if you look to a who to solve the problem? And you've got internal who's. You've got like the likes of your team, your consultants, your short team, your part-time team. So that's who, not how. Who are the people I need to have around me to help me deliver the vision? But you see, the external who's. The external who's. So there's 108 different speakers to learn from. And here's my view on this. If you can't get value out of Accountex Virtual, that's on you. The program is excellent. The speaker lineup is excellent. You can watch the free live, or you can make a £10 donation to the NHS and access all the recordings. If you can't get value out of that live event, that's on you. That's on you. Now, there's a bigger question coming up about online versus live. And I'm hearing this from lots of people. And this is a mindset thing, really. So do you prefer going to live events, like as in person? Because I know I do. Like sometimes the travel's a pain in the ass, and you know, the time away from home and the time away from the kids, and you know, I don't, you know, airports and hotels, sometimes I don't like, but you know, meeting people in the flesh. Online events, it doesn't necessarily give the same level of connection. Now, we're continually working to innovate, and we've got some very exciting announcements, which we're going to make very, very shortly in terms of how we're innovating the delivery of online events. A little birdie told me recently that one of the accounting institutes is looking here at basically not having any more live events. We've already looked at the possibility of not having live events in 2020. Even if we all come back out and everybody is released and there's no lockdown anymore, are people going to get in their cars, get on airplanes, get on trains and travel to go into confined spaces with lots of other people? So even if the government says yes, are people actually going to do that? I do prefer live events myself. I do prefer live interaction. But we're moving our business and we're trying to seize the opportunity in this shift as best we can. Now, there's something really, really important here. And I'm optimistic. Any of you who know me, I'm optimistic. And no matter what happens, I try and see the optimistic piece. Recently, we were going for a picnic. So one of the places that we go now is, we've live on a farm here in Ireland. So where we live on the farm, we've got this little river and this woods. And one of the things we were doing recently was had planned this particular weekend to have a picnic and a day at the river, but it started raining and it was really cold, and I didn't feel like going outside, to be honest. I was a bit tired. It was wet. It was going to be miserable up there. And I just said to the kids, let's do it differently. And they said, what do you mean do it differently, Dad? We were going to have a barbecue and we were going to do this. And we basically had an indoor barbecue and a picnic, but we had the picnic in our sunroom instead, looking out at the rain. So I believe in optimism. I believe in seeing the opportunity. But you see, there's something that's more important than optimism. And I want you to do this. So obviously, Jonathan has put up the link there. You'll see the link in the comments below. If you click through that link and register with us, we have an extra bonus for you in terms of this 2-hour time training. If you've already registered through our link, you can still come in, click on that link, just put into the box that you've registered, and we'll make the bonus training available to you. This was a live training, only did it on Friday morning for our members, and we've got good feedback on it. So there's something that's more important than optimism right now. Now, I was sent a video last week, and it was a video. So just go search this. Go search this at some stage tonight or tomorrow, and search on YouTube and search Jim Collins and the Stockdale Paradox. I thought the timing, Jim Collins, the author of Good to Great, and the guy gets a lot of things right, let's be honest. And whenever he speaks, he's worth listening to. Like many of the 108 speakers are going to be on Accountex Virtual. So Jim Collins and the Stockdale Paradox, and it's only a 6-minute video. So search that on YouTube and find it and listen to it for 6 minutes. But it tells a story about how this guy was a general in the US Army, and he was in a prisoner of war camp over, I think it could have been 5-6 years, a prolonged period of time. And because he was the senior leader, he was subjected to even more harrowing conditions and more harrowing treatment than his command. So he was a commander, and he had to maintain the morale of his command, who were in the prisoner of war camp, but he was also signaled out for some horrific treatment and torture. And Jim Collins is recounting this interview he did with this guy called Stockdale, and he wanted him to attribute how he survived such horrific conditions. And what Stockdale said is, the ones who survived the prison camps were not the optimists, they were the ones who had faith. And Jim Collins kind of questioned this. What do you mean optimist? So to get through something as horrific as that, you had to be an optimist. And what Stockdale said, so this is obviously a paraphrase version, what Stockdale said was, the people who said, oh, we're going to be out of this by Christmas, and then we're going to be out of it by March, and then we're going to be out of it by, and out of it, and out of it. He said those people eventually became disheartened, and it wore them down when normality didn't return as quickly as they expected. Like live events, we do over 140 live events a year, and that's just in Ireland. Virtual Accountex could be the new normal. And you see, the optimists run out of optimistic energy, whereas the people who have faith, yes, this is a struggle, yes, we will get through it. But it's not about, well, we're going to be back to normal tomorrow or the next day or the next day. That we have faith that we're going to endure this journey. We are going to prevail in this journey. We are going to come out the far side, but that we don't have false optimism. So another reason why we should look at embracing virtual events versus live events. Jonathan has given you the link. If you are coming, if you are attending, I'd love to see you on my event. I'm speaking with some amazing people about the future of the accounting profession. So I can't wait to participate in that. And it's really interesting. I'm there as a speaker. I'm one of a panel of 4 or 5. But do you know what I'm more interested in? I'm more interested in not hearing what I have to say, because I know what I have to say. I'm more interested in hearing what the rest of the panel has to say. Be a lifelong learner. So AccountX Virtual, I hope to see you there. Click the link below, register. If you've already registered, click the link and we'll still give you your free bonus. So I can't wait to see you Wednesday, Thursday this week, AccountX Virtual. Until I see you there, let's get it done.